At 82 years old, I thought I had finally figured life out. But there's one decision I made that still keeps me awake at night. I regret moving into a nursing home. At the time, it felt like the right choice. My family reassured me, telling me I'd be safe, cared for, and comfortable. I believed them. But the truth I uncovered inside those walls was nothing like the picture I had in my head. And before you assume this is just another story about aging, let me warn you. Whether you were thinking about this option for yourself or for someone you love, what I'm about to share might completely change the way you see nursing homes. Because once you go in, life will never be the same, and getting out, that's not as simple as it sounds. Today, I want to share the 6 biggest regrets I wish someone had told me before I made this life-changing choice. Stick with me until the very end, because the last regret is the most devastating one of all. Regret number 1. Losing my independence. The real shock wasn't the small room or the scheduled meals. It was the gut-wrenching realization that my freedom was gone. Before, I lived by my own rhythm, deciding when to eat, when to sleep, even when to simply step outside for a walk. But in the nursing home, my time wasn't mine anymore. Breakfast was served whether I wanted it or not, lights out at a set time. Even a walk outside required permission and waiting. Every little choice felt stolen. I'll never forget my first week, waking up, reaching for the book I always read in the mornings, only to realize my favorite chair, my cozy walls, my familiar comforts were gone. In their place, sterile walls, rules, and a cold reminder I was no longer in charge of my life. And here's the cruel truth. Once you surrender your independence, it almost never comes back. Regret number 2. Becoming forgotten. When I first arrived, my family promised to visit. And at first, they did. My daughter came weekly. My grandkids stopped by on weekends. For a while, I believed I was still connected. But slowly, visits turned into calls. Calls turned into excuses. Holidays came and went, and I sat alone in a common room watching others stare at the door, waiting for someone who never arrived. One night, I sat with my phone in hand, debating whether to call my son. But I didn't want to sound needy. I didn't want to beg for his attention. So I put the phone down. And it hit me like a knife. This was my life now. Fading from their daily world, out of sight, out of mind. If you're considering a nursing home, ask yourself, are you ready for that kind of loneliness? Because it creeps in faster than you think. Regret number 3. Losing my purpose. At home, I always had something to live for. Watering my plants, cooking my own meals, tidying my space. They were small tasks, but they gave me a reason to get up each morning. In the nursing home, all of that disappeared. Meals were prepared, rooms cleaned, responsibilities erased. At first I thought, well, this is easier. But soon, the days grew endless, stretched thin with nothing but waiting. I saw it in others, too. George, an old carpenter, once built beautiful furniture with his hands. Here, no tools, no projects, just silence. One day he whispered to me, "I feel useless," and I knew exactly what he meant. Without purpose, you don't just pass the time, you start fading away. Regret number 4. Watching my health decline faster than ever. Before the move, I was doing fine for my age. I cooked, I shopped, I stayed active. But inside the nursing home, life was designed to make things easier. Meals delivered, help at the press of a button, less walking, less moving. At first, it felt like comfort, but comfort became weakness. My legs stiffened, my body slowed. Even standing up felt like a challenge. I saw the same thing happening all around me. Residents who walked in strong within months were dependent on walkers, then wheelchairs. My neighbor Alice once said, "I feel like I aged 10 years in just a few months." And she was right. When you stop using your body, you lose it. And in a nursing home, it happens terrifyingly fast. Regret number 5. Losing privacy and dignity. This is the part no one warns you about. At home, I had space, privacy, the comfort of being alone when I wanted to be. But in a nursing home, privacy is an illusion. Staff walking in, roommates you didn't choose, being spoken to like a patient rather than a person. Even showering, dressing, or using the bathroom often required help. I'll never forget the first time I had to wait for someone to help me use the restroom. Sitting there, helpless, stripped of dignity. Some people don't mind, but for me it was a daily reminder. I wasn't in control anymore. My life, my choices, even my dignity, were no longer mine. Regret number 6. Realizing leaving isn't as simple as you think. When I first moved in, I told myself, if I don't like it, I'll just leave. But that's the cruel illusion. My house wasn't the same anymore. My strength wasn't the same anymore. Even my family started doubting whether I could live alone again. The longer I stayed, the weaker I became. And slowly the option of leaving slipped away. I met residents who told me the same thing. I thought this was temporary, but now I can't go back. Homes were sold, savings drained, bodies weakened, and for many, there was no escape. That's the truth no one tells you. Once you go in, it's rarely temporary. It becomes your whole world. And so if you're considering a nursing home, listen carefully. I don't regret growing old, but I do regret giving away my independence too easily. I regret believing I had no other options. And if you're standing at this crossroad wondering what to do, pause. Ask yourself, is this truly the best choice or just the easiest? Because once you cross that threshold, life changes forever. If you found this eye-opening, leave a comment below and share your thoughts. And please, subscribe and stay with us. At Baligh Wisdom, we bring you truths that others won't say out loud, the ones that might just change the choices you make.